Okay, guys, let's talk a little bit about the format of the audit exam. Okay, so first you had the welcome and the launch code, and that was very straightforward. None of that mattered. Don't worry about that at all. Confidentiality, can't tell anyone what was on the exam, and I'm not going to do that either, but I am going to talk about the topics that are on this publicly available a blueprint from the AICPA, and but let's get into it. So the first thing you're going to face is 36 multiple choice questions, okay? And these questions are said to be at a medium difficulty, and for me they seemed to be like a high level question, like, you know, what is the standard in this case? What does this mean? What does that mean? And if you have gone through Becker and you've gone through some Farhat videos, then you should be able to answer these fairly well, right? There are no questions on the first one that you should struggle with. Okay, and if you get there and you do struggle, no worries, no worries, it's okay. Just swing your hardest. While you're in the exam, you swing your hardest. You just do your best. That's all you can do. Okay? Now, obviously, before we get into the exam, there is a lot we can do. Okay, but while we're in there, we swing our hardest. We keep going no matter what, and we do our best. Okay? So then what's going to happen is you're going to have your first section of multiple choice, and if you do really good, your next set is going to be harder, and that seems to be more complicated. It seems to be questions that you really have to think very carefully on. And with these questions, so I really feel like I got a harder set of questions here. They actually did take some extra thinking, and take some extra careful consideration, and they still did not seem too hard. Okay, they were still not too hard. There was one or two that I was a little iffy on, right? But they were still not too bad, but they do require an understanding that, you have to have a good level of understanding, okay? You just have to. And then, and let's talk about timing actually. So you have 4 hours total. The time starts when you start this guy right here, and it ends when you submit this guy right here, okay? So you're going to start your 4 hours, right, and you go through these. And what I did is I budgeted 20 minutes per question on these, and that was about right, okay? There was one that took a little over 20, and the rest took less than 20. There was one that took me like 3 or 4 minutes, but it was because it was a research question, and we'll talk about research. But so you need to budget 20 minutes for each of these, okay? That means you have just under an hour and a half to do these. So that's about a minute 15 seconds ish per one of these, but really don't worry about that, okay? Because once you have a really high level of understanding, you're going to start reading the questions and you're already going to know the answers, okay? Or else you're going to start reading the questions and then you're going to think in your mind, okay? And this is what I did. So I would read the question and I would think, okay, that means the choices should look something like this, this, or this, okay? Okay, and then I would look at the choices and I'd say, okay, this one's obviously wrong because of this. This one's obviously wrong because of that. This one can't be right for this reason, can't be right for that reason. Okay, so that's how you need to think about these. Okay, and when you have a really good understanding of it, timing will not be an issue. Okay. Okay, so you do these two, and then you'll get your first two task-based sims. Okay, and then you'll finish those. And for sims, again, if you have a really good understanding, then the sims really are just not challenging. They're just not. And again, hopefully I actually passed. Hopefully I know what I'm talking about. I don't really know yet because I do have to wait for my score. But when you have a really solid understanding, then the sims really are not that bad. Okay. Then after this sim, you're going to have a 15-minute break. I used 6 minutes of the 15. I came back when I had 9 minutes left, and I was thinking, it's not really going to help me to take, more of a break, so I just said, okay, I'm ready to go, let's go. And then I did these. I still had, so when I started these, I still had 2 hours left. Actually, I had an hour 58 minutes left when I started the fourth one, and so I finished the fourth group, and I still had a little over an hour left. So then I finished the last group, and I ended up with about to 45 minutes left, and I took a lot of time to re-go over my answers and really make sure that I was happy with everything. And I didn't feel like it was a real crunch for time. And again, that was because I had a solid understanding that I got by using Becker the way I did, and by using Farhat videos and other YouTube videos to explain the concepts that were a little more challenging, a little more complex, and that Becker did not quite do a solid job on. I guess I would say the explanation was just not quite there. But so then I finished these, and then that was it for the test. And I think that's everything for the format. And as far as the topics to go over, we will cover those next. Alright, see you guys.